Hi, hello. Today we're making this baby Cthulhu. It's very simple. I make these in a bunch of colors. You do not need to limit yourself to greens. But for today, it's gonna be in this green. This is Ice Yarn's Baby Chenille or Chenille Baby. I love this yarn for plushies. You can make this in any yarn, probably. It will just make it a different size. I recommend you go down a hook size on what your yarn label says you should use. With my Ice Yarn Chenille, I will be using a 6mm hook, and then you need a stitch marker, some scissors, a darning needle, and some safety eyes. I have no clue which size these are, the box doesn't say so. I just measure to what you think looks good. You could also embroider on the eyes if you feel like it, or give him little extras like a hat, a mustache, eyebrows, that kind of stuff. There we go. I'm gonna make sure that I am centered so you can see what I am doing. Okay, you're gonna start with a magic circle. There, and then you single crochet 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Close a magic circle. With chenille yarn this is a bit of a struggle. If you notice that you are struggling excessively, you could make a magic circle with just one loop. And then just make sure that you tie the end so it's more secure. Right, magic circle. Get your stitch marker in there. Then you go ahead and you do a round of increases. Increase in every stitch. Now you should have 12 stitches. Put your stitch marker back in, and then you alternate single crochet and increase. So it's single crochet, increase all around until you have 18 stitches. And there you go. Now you start with a single crochet, then you increase, and then you alternate 2 single crochet increases until the end, where you should have your final increase in here, and then you put the single crochet there, and that makes it so it stays round instead of getting pointy, which happens if you put your increase at the same spot every time. Technically, this is small enough of a plush with few enough increases that you don't have to do this, but it's good to get into the habit if you're going to be making bigger plushies. There, and that should then be 24 stitches in the round. Now for the final row of round of increases, it's going to be 3 single crochet, increase, repeat, and that'll end up with 30 stitches. That's the biggest part of this entire project, 30 stitches in the round, so it is pretty quick. There we go. So at this point you have 30 stitches and, whoa, my stitch marker. You have 30 stitches and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, whatever you want to call it. We're going to single crochet around until you have 8 rounds, so 3 rounds of just 30 single crochets the whole time. The center pull is a little messy. Don't worry about it. Okay. And that is the 3rd round. Finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's getting a little bit of a rounding to it now. This is where we add in the tentacles, and all of the tentacles are the same, so I'm going to show you one in detail, then one a little bit quicker, and the rest we're going to speed up. Where you put the tentacles doesn't really matter, as long as it's in round 9 and 10. I usually do about 5 stitches. And then I start my first tentacle. And to do that, we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the entire tentacle is worked in a half double crochets to make them a little bit thicker, but not super thick, because it's a small Cthulhu. So you yarn over for your half double, you skip the first one here, and you place your half double in the second chain. And you put 3 of them, 3 half double crochets in the first stitch. Then you do a single half double crochet in the one after that. And in the third one, you put 2 half double crochets. And this creates a little bit of a curve, a little bit of a wobble to the tentacle. And then you just half double crochet down the rest of the tentacle. Try to not twist it too much while you're making it, but if you do, that doesn't really matter. It'll just make the tentacles a bit more twisty, which fits, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now this is the single crochet you did last, and you just go into the next one. Just pretend you never even made the tentacle. Here you go. That's the first tentacle. It has a little curve to it. And then you have one single crochet. You do a second one, and then you make another tentacle. So 11 change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 half double crochet. 1 half double crochet. 2 half double crochet. And half double crochet down the rest of the tentacle. Now you're gonna do a third one in this row, and then I'll show you where the tentacles below this go relative to these. If you feel like it, you could put more tentacles on him. You could technically put less, but I think that won't look nice. So you single crochet 2, and then 1, 2. There we go, that's 3 tentacles in row 9, and then you just single crochet the rest of the row. There we go, now we're on to round 10. I am going to shuffle the way I'm sitting a little bit. Still centered, still centered. What we're going to do for the next row of tentacles is we're going to have 4 in total, and we're going to align them in between the ones we already have. If you started out with 5 single crochets like me, you're going to single crochet 4 and then start your first tentacle there. If you decided to do more, you can just like do the amount you single crocheted in the previous row minus 1, and it should line up. So we have 1 single crochet left before our tentacle, so that's where we start the next one. And then you have this tentacle, and the next crochet, single crochet, is right before the tentacle of the previous round. And then the second one between the tentacles is the first one after the previous round. So that is nice and in between, and it's gonna line up. So we make another one here. And then again, your first single crochet is before the previous round's tentacle, and your second is after the previous round's tentacle. That's the third one of the row. And so this will be the final one. There is one more single crochet before the previous round's tentacle, one after, and the final tentacle. 1, 2, 3. And there, lock that one in place with the single crochet. Now all of our tentacles are done. You just single crochet to the end of the round and then we start decreasing. Now I'm going to be using the invisible decrease. You can do a regular decrease if there's more options than that I am not aware of. Probably works. I don't know. I haven't tried those. The regular one looks fine on this. Especially the part under the tentacles is well hidden, so if there are any gaps you can't really see them that well. I'm just using an invisible decrease because I should be in the habit of using it again for bigger projects where it is more noticeable if there's gaps and imperfections. Do whatever you're comfortable with. See, that's round 10 finished. And because we ended with 3 increases, 30 stitches, or 3 single crochet between our increases, 30 stitches, we're going to reverse that and we're going to start with 3 single crochets between our decreases. So 1, 2, 3, and this is where you need to pay attention a little bit. There is 1 single crochet in your decrease before the tentacle and 1 after. This is what makes the invisible decrease a little bit challenging in this, but it works just fine. There you go. And keep following the 1 before, 1 after the tentacle pattern. There is no single crochet in the tentacle, right? You don't use that one. That was 2 stitches, 3 stitches, and then the next decrease is entirely between these 2 tentacles here. And there, like this. And then your next stitch is after the tentacle and then it's back to normal. So then you do 1, 2, 3, and a decrease, and you repeat that all the way to the end of the round. Then you're at the end of the round. Final decrease. You should be back to 24 stitches at this point. And the next round is the 2 single crochet decrease with the same slight twist to it as with the increase, where first we have 1 single crochet and a decrease, and then it's just a 2, and then you end on a single crochet in here instead of a decrease. Now, if you're using smaller yarn or you struggle to get in between the tight gaps that are left over with chenille plushies, you might want to consider attaching your eyes on now. They go slightly next to the top tentacle. I do this at the very end because for me the gap that is left is big enough to do so. Let's see, that was our decrease here. So then we have our final decrease, one before the stitch marker, and the single crochet to match up with the starting of the round in our final stitch. And this will be the last round of the head. It will be one single crochet and then decrease all around. You should end up with 12 stitches in the round, and then you can fasten off. And you can choose whether you leave a tail showing on the head or on the body. I do so on the body, so I cut off the head pretty close to the tying off part. There you go. Final decrease. And pull that. A little bit smaller. Cut. Hold tight. And that is a head with tentacles. Now I'll attach the eyes and then we'll make the body. So I put the eyes right here. This is the top tentacle, this is the bottom tentacle. There is a stitch right above in between there. Put on the backing. You can choose to burn the end, make it more secure, put some felt between here, make it more secure, whatever makes it feel better to you. I am fine with this eye size not having any of those security measures. For the smaller ones I do put some extra effort into making them stay. I haven't had any issues with this size coming out. Here's your Cthulhu head. Now we'll make his body. I'm gonna leave him right here. Leave him right there. Now the body, we're starting off the same way. We've got a magic circle with 6 single crochets in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Close that up. Wow, the yarn's actually cooperating for the magic circles today. That's wonderful. I should record tutorials more often. I've been having a lot of fussy magic circles recently. Now, you have your magic circle of 6 and you'll just increase all around. So you have 12 stitches. Just like the head. And there we go. Then it's the single crochet increase alteration until we have 18 stitches again. So single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase times 6. Final single crochet, and then the increase at the stitch marker. Place back the stitch marker for the fourth, can I count? 1, 2, 3, fourth row. It is the 2 single crochet increasing, but then with the alteration of starting with a single crochet and then increase, and then ending in the single crochet with all of the 2 single crochet increases in between. I really hope when I say that it makes sense, because I am so used to it by now that I don't know how to explain it better. You can very much just do 2 single crochet and an increase. I think it is a minimal difference in shape. This is just exactly how I do it. There we go. Whoop. We're gonna end up with 24 stitches, and that is the widest part of the body. After this final increase here, we will be doing 3 rows of single crochets. So we're at 4 rounds now. We're going to do 3 rounds of single crochet. We'll end up with 7 rounds there. And after that, I'll tell you what we do then. There we go, that's our 3rd round done. So that is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds of the body complete. Round 8 is going to be 2 single crochet and a decrease. Again, I'm going to do the little alteration that it starts with a single crochet and ends with a single crochet. But you don't need to do that, especially because there will be more single crochet rounds after this that will hide any weird shifts in where your decreases happen. So we had 1 decrease, 1, 2, decrease and repeat. We end round 8, and then rounds 9 and 10 will both be just single crochets. There you go, that is the end of the single crochets and also the start of the final row of the body already. And it's going to be a single crochet and then a decrease, and then you just repeat that all around. You should end up with 12 stitches matching the neck or the gap at the bottom of the head. There's not really a neck there. And when you have that, you can fasten off with a longer tail, and then we will assemble him. Final decrease, snip with a long tail, and close that off. This is not the neatest way to fasten off, but it is mostly hidden when you sew, so I am completely okay with that. Alrighty, so now we have this little blobby body and the head with the tentacles on it. Gonna grab our stuffing. I keep my stuffing in this little produce baggie when I'm having some on the table. And you want to kind of like pull that apart a little bit for extra fluffiness. We aren't using the end of the head, so I just kind of like shimmy that inside so we don't have to worry about it later. Push in some stuffing. You want to stuff him like kind of firm, but not so firmly that he gets squished out of shape. I hope that makes sense. Just do what you think feels right. Let's see. There's some squish to him. Yeah, perfect. Body. Grab stuffing. On creatures where I sew the body to the head or the head to the body, or whichever way around you do this, I tend to stuff the body more firmly than the head and then squeeze the plush a bit so the stuffing moves around, because there's less parts in the body that can be disarranged, if that makes sense. If I stuff the head very firmly and I press that stuffing in with my thumb like that, I might make the eyes go at a weird angle or create a weird dent in the top of the head, which I don't like the look of. So I prefer risking that on the body to keep the firmness. There you go. Grab your darning needle, thread your tail, and I start right here in the center under the tentacles, because that is going to hide any dent or less pretty bit that you might have. I go on from the inside here and then from the outside on the body, and you just repeat that all the way around for 12 stitches. Depending on your yarn, you might need to pull tight many times in between or only once at the very end. Chenille yarn tends to rip and fray if you do everything at the end, so I am just pulling tight between every 2 or so stitches. The end of your head does not line up with where you start, which is usually how you would do this. So you just kind of shimmy on between that, and if you feel like you need to, you can go between there again to kind of hide it a bit more. You can do less stitches before your tentacles to make that line up and be under the tentacles, but I feel like that makes my decreasing more annoying at the 3 decreases. This is the optimal way for me, so I just deal with that little spot there. Now you're back under the tentacles, you just kind of move them up. Up. And the last one. There you go. Pull that a little bit tighter. And then we are under his tentacles, so whatever we do here is hidden. You just tie it off securely as you can. There you go. And then you hide the end through his big ol' head. Snip your end off. That should disappear inside the stuffing. And there you have a little baby Cthulhu. Squish him a little bit to get the proper shape going. And then you have your little guy. And you can create an army and take over the universe. Have fun with him. Also, fun fact, Cthulhu is in the public domain, so if you want to make these for a market or anything like that, it is not copyrighted. You are allowed to sell these.